that somebody on a dialysis machine in a cave didn't have NORAD stand down, didn't do war games of flying planes in the buildings that morning, didn't do CIA insider trading, didn't call Mayor Willie Brown and tell him not to fly, and Ashcroft and everybody else.
What really happened on September 11th when 3,000 citizens were sent into heaven? Why the air of fake Bin Laden video confession? Why's the fairy tale version got so many questions? With radical hijackers that were only using box cutters sliced up pilots like a knife cutting hot butter. They had us frantic like a NASDAQ stock runner. They flew in planes like a Tom Cruise Top Gunner. But the story's bogus, I noticed. Dick Cheney ran 9/11 drinking Diet Sprite sodas. You only gotta look at how the buildings collapsed. Bombs popping off, listen, cause the building effects. A controlled demolition had a molten pool of steel up at ground zero. That's the temperature to drown heroes. Fires in the buildings that were oxygen starved. People waving from the windows where the bombing had started. So let me get this straight. These fires couldn't melt people of glass, but they could melt 47 steel frames. World Trade 7 wasn't hit by a plane, and 5 p.m. collapsed and they couldn't explain how for the third time in history a steel building melted in a neat little pile. How did it happen? Such a mystery. The owners said pull it and admitted they knew. That's Larry Silverstein, the partner with the Blackstone Group. They got the act all cool and made $6 billion stacking blood money dripping off of necktie collars. The South Tower burned for like 48 minutes, while the buildings in Madrid burned for 28 hours, shooting white hot flames, but they never collapsed. Ask your science professor, make him try and explain that. Or just watch the videos with concrete shooting out the blast point. You hear explosions at the flash point. C4 hit him like an asteroid. Planning a controlled demolition. Got a question you can ask Roy. You got a question you can ask Roy.
What you believe doesn't necessarily make it so. And so people say, well, how dare you, change my reality on 9/11? I don't want to believe it. Well, regardless of what you believe, the facts are still the facts. Let me just say this.
Yo, for real, why was Dick Cheney running hijacking drills? And why has George Shultz got a mind that can kill? And why they steal the footage when a missile hit the Pentagon? Why they stage terror like in Beirut, Lebanon? Why is it the Lord never try and intercept? Why would Rumsfeld stand down, order so direct? Really, why was 9/11 such an inside job? Well, because the facts make it easy to solve. So the project for the new American century said we need a mobilizer with a new Pearl Harbor. Yeah, we got him by the chains, but we need to pull harder in a cashless society, control grid slaughter. So 3,000 citizens were martyred. The military budget seen jumping like a young Vince Carter. 9/11's really just a starter. They planted more terrorism all the way from here to Jakarta. And after the fact, they passed the Patriot Act. They left the Constitution murder with a stake in its back, cause they had to get a stake in Iraq. Bechtel, Raytheon, Dicor, and the Halliburton contracts. Children get abducted like alien contact at Abu Ghraib prison during military combat. Cheney's that man saying bomb that. I'm that vice president that played possum like a wombat. He stole the plan out of Operation Northwoods. Him and Scooter Libby burned crosses and they sport hoods. Peter Schumacher and a shadow government are running martial law takeover drills out of Fort Hood. See, they import goods, CIA running crack. Teenagers popping more Viking than Laura Bush. Deficit, they run it up. 3 trillion missing from the Pentagon budget. The water supply drugging it. Why you think they're loving it, loving it? Got a system where the terrorism happens cause the CIA funded it. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi's just a one-legged shield. Bin Laden's already been killed. Just false flag mind control, synthetic terrorism, comic book villains. Now Americans are scared of living blind to the 9/11 inside job. It's Roy Shivers to the truth like religion of God.
Face the facts. There's no debating it. All the evidence points toward David Ray Griffin's fourth scenario, government total involvement. That is a criminal element within the government. That doesn't mean your mailman was involved, or the cop was involved, or your cousin whose FBI was involved.
Yo, for real, why was Buzzy Krongard selling airline stocks? Why is Bush's brain star where his hairline stops? Why do Pentagon officials all cancel their flights? Why does fluoridated water cause cancer in mice? Why would World Trade 7 all of a sudden collapse? Why was Dick Cheney planning for a war in Iraq? Really, why was 9/11 such an inside job? Well, because the facts make it easy to solve. Muhammad Atta trained as a spy up in Cali for the Able Danger program in the Monterey Valley. Then he transferred to a CIA flight school in Venice. FBI double agent terrorist apprentice, with Cheney running drills like a dentist. Remote control piloted and crashed into the World Trade Centers. And now he claiming that he can defend us. Halliburton's making $20 billion off of genocide agendas. Economy to topple like Jenga mass media that's running bigger scams than the credit card lenders. This new world order that we enter is David Rockefeller's wet dream, cause he's chicken like tenders. It's really not the end of it. The Federal Reserve print money and they spending it. It's Roy Shivers, I can smell a psyop from the center of it, knowing that the NSA ran at least 80% of it. They knocked down the towers like a tenement, ensuring that the military complex benefit. You hear the truth in my sentiment. Bush administration officials, they take reality and bending it.
It's called covert action. It's called compartmentalization. This is what they do. The CIA admits to hundreds of bombings all over the world to blame it on people.
Why supposed hijackers traded Air Force bases? And why did Flight 93 land in 2 places? And why did they replace it with a drone? And why a Paul Wolf and Winston Richard Pearl talking with Sharon? Why did agents from Assad laugh and videotape? Why did FBI agents go and let them escape? Really, why was 9/11 such an inside job? Well, because the facts make it easy to solve.
I have official government documents for 9/11. I have official government documents for Operation Gladio. I have official government documents where they carried attacks out. Do you understand? That's the number one piece of evidence. Number two is the motive. And then we say, well, we don't want to believe this. Let's look at the evidence. And when you look at the evidence, only one country, and other governments have looked at this, only one country, forget somebody in a cave, only one country can pull this off in America. Now, if you want to learn the truth, go to Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com and get Martial Law, my new film. It is my crowning achievement. It is.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
We're sitting outside the classroom waiting to go in, and I saw an airplane hit the tower. The TV was obviously on. And I used to fly myself, and I said, "There's one terrible problem."
Terrorism against our nation will not stand.
Bin Laden blow up the projects, Bush knock down the towers.
I do want to thank the folks here at the Booker Elementary School for their hospitality. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence. Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country. Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward. And freedom will be defended. This is an impressive crowd, the haves and the have-mores. Some people call you the elite. I call you my base.
What did Al-Qaeda mean at that time? And this is very interesting. We'd have to go to Robin Cook, the late Foreign Secretary. In the Guardian article, he confirmed that Al-Qaeda was a term that was invented by the CIA, and it had been invented to designate a database of mujahideen that were recruited and trained by the CIA. And he's right, because the Arabic word for database, you just have to add this word. It's Al-Qaeda Ma'lumat. Al-Qaeda means the base, and Ma'lumat means data. Together it means database.
Al-Qaeda is fake. Al-Qaeda is not an organization. Al-Qaeda is only a label. There is no organization like Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a list of participants in the Afghanistan war of the 80s. Al-Qaeda is nothing. It is only a puppet blown up by the Western propaganda to show the public the big evil.
What has happened? 2 attacks. There have been in Manhattan, 1 plane colliding with 1 twin tower. 18 minutes later, oh my God.
Oh my God.
You can imagine the situation could get any worse. You've just seen it get worse. That was the 2nd tower of the World Trade Center collapsing before our eyes. the second tower collapsing.